Hey everybody, welcome back to JuJu's Journey. If you're new here, I'm JuJu. My real name is Angela, but all of my children and my grandchildren, well, my children call me Mama, but my grandchildren call me JuJu. I was nicknamed that name over 30 years ago by my best friend's little boy, and it just kind of stuck. Um, if you're new here, this channel is a channel about my journey. My husband died 1 year and almost 4 months ago. And this is just my channel on rebuilding my life and trying to find joy, happiness, living on a budget. It's really hard. It's really hard. And trying to stay positive. It's been a minute. I mean, I have not been doing videos, I'm sure, with my few little followers that I have. If you do follow me or watch my videos, it's been a minute. And life has been kind of crazy, I have to admit. My daughter got married. Absolutely beautiful. The most beautiful little simple ceremony that you could ever imagine. It hit all the spots that it needed. You know that she was going to elope because her dad wasn't here to walk her down the aisle. And she was already living with her fiance probably for almost 3 years. And his intentions were to ask her dad for her hand in marriage. But my husband's illness happened like really quick. And it was like 1.5 months and that was it. So nobody expected him to end up having a stroke that ultimately is what he died from. So that never happened. So then when she did get engaged, it was such a happy, joyful moment in our lives. We needed happiness like that. But she said, I'm just gonna elope. But she wanted to take photos. She wanted a professional photographer. She wanted her hair and makeup done. And she wanted she and her husband to go have pictures. She went and bought a beautiful wedding dress. Not just, I mean, a very nice wedding dress. And she was going to elope and then put the dress on later and go get photos. Well, I kept discouraging her. I kept saying, you bought the dress. Like, it makes no sense to me for you to run to the courthouse, elope, and maybe a dress, like just a normal dress, and then go play dress up in a wedding dress and have professional pictures made. I said, I think the pictures should have a meaning behind them, of that special day. And I said, why don't you go and elope? They have all these elopement packages, and he can at least see you come down in your dress and you can have your hair, makeup, and all of that done. And she was like, no, if I do that, then I want you there too. And I said, well, if you have me, then you'll have to have his mom. And so the people that she wanted at her elopement grew to just me, to her immediate family and his immediate family, and her very best friend and his husband and his very best friend and his husband. Her best friend and her husband, his very best friend and his wife. And so I think that made it 17 people that were at her wedding, because we do have a large family. And she found a package, and I wish I knew who this company was. I wish I knew it, and I would link it. But you can look them, Elopement, South Carolina, I think they have actually several little companies. But you can sign up, you put your deposit down. Her deposit was $500. And for what she wanted, she was able to pick where she wanted to get married. Remember, her whole thing was photography and hair and makeup. Well, she already had her dress. So with her package that she got, she picked out the park that she was married in because of the massive, massive oak trees with the moss hanging and low branches, just beautiful, beautiful pictures. This park was absolutely beautiful. The azaleas were in bloom. Everything was green already. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. So, with her package, with 20 chairs, she didn't have to reserve a spot because it was a public park, but it was at a massive, and when I say massive, oh my gosh, what do you call them? No, I don't know why gazebo. Massive, beautiful white gazebo. Like, had it been raining, we could have all gone and put 20 chairs easily in this gazebo and had the wedding ceremony. And nobody would have been cramped. That's how big the gazebo was. It was beautiful. So so her venue was beautiful. But with this plan that she had a wedding planner. She got her hair and makeup. That was included in the package. They came to her. They came to her hotel. She did have to pay $50 extra for that, for traveling fee. But as far as paying them, no. She had an officiant. She had a photographer. They kept in constant contact with her. She, of course, got to pick out her wedding vows and put whatever she wanted in there. Anything she wanted, she could critique it. It came with her bouquet, which was beautiful. It would have been exactly what we would have gone and picked out. Beautiful. His boutonniere. Of course, they put the chairs down and took them away. And that whole package was only $1,750. She had to put down a $500 deposit, and then I think she had to pay the remainder the week prior, or something like that. But the person that did her makeup, this is really comical. If y'all watch Bravo television, reality television, if you ever watch Southern Charm, you know it's based in Charleston, South Carolina. Patricia, the older lady that's wealthy, Patricia who has a butler and all of that. This lady does her hair. And I mean, we even have like a little snippet of her doing her hair from the show. I mean, she was very good and she was sweet. And the person who did her makeup was awesome. My daughter doesn't wear makeup, and she's beautiful. She has the most beautiful skin, most beautiful little body. Everything was perfect. The weather was absolutely perfect. Like, you were not hot at all. You would not break a sweat, and you were not chilly. It was like someone turned the temperature on that day, because the day prior, we had another cold front that came through, and some rain. But that morning, it was foggy. You could not see your hand in front of your face. And her wedding was early because she was there really for the photography. And they said around, 11:30 noon were the best photos, or at sunset. And so anyway, she chose 11 noon because, sunset would have been kind of late for everybody to get settled. And I don't know, she just wanted noon. So she got married at 11. The temperature was absolutely wonderful. I mean, you could not have asked. If you had to sit there and say, okay, wedding planner, I want it to be sunny and the weather to be 72 degrees outside. That's exactly what happened. I don't know what the temperature was, but it was like the perfect temperature. And every person that was there absolutely loved the couple, you know. So it was very sentimental. I think we all cried. Um, it was loving, but I got what I wanted. I knew good and well that although they lived together, I knew that when he saw her come, it was kind of like a peekaboo, like he couldn't see her. And then when she came walking, he got to see her for the first time. Whenever he saw her, if you could see his face, I mean, they have over 1,000 professional photos. The photographer is amazing. And she got all of the photographs back in one day. Nothing was left out, like no emotion from them in the photos. But then when they did their photos, they're so beautiful. And that was all included: hair, makeup, photography, setup of chairs, officiant, wedding planner, flowers, everything. You've got to understand that was all inclusive of this package that she bought. But anyway, I can zoom in on his face, and if you could have seen the love that he had, and then when they're standing there, reciting, saying their vows to each other, it was perfect. Absolutely perfect. And he even told her on his way to Charleston, we should have just gone and eloped like we had planned. This is too stressful. Although it was very stress-free. I guess just getting to Charleston and knowing his family was coming to Charleston to what? Anyway, but he said right after they got married that he is so glad that she taught him, or they decided to do this route. He had no idea that he was going to feel the way he did when she went walking down the aisle. So that happened on March 14th. Life is just so crazy. So that was what? Today is the Tuesday, so it's the 24th. So it's been a week and 3 days ago? But that's just crazy life. It was my aunt's birthday. I went and spent the day with her. She's the one I went to the beach with. And then we, surprise, played cards. I gave her a birthday gift. And it was wonderful. We had a great day. But it's been very, very emotional. I know the week leading up to her wedding, I ended up with a huge fever blister. A lot of personal things are going on in my life right now that really has a lot of stress on me. And it has nothing to do with me or my immediate family. It's just something else that basically impacts my immediate family, though. It's the settling of an estate that would have belonged to my husband, but now it belongs to me. And things aren't being done quite right. Like, not right at all. And so I've had to hire an attorney, and it's just like dragging out. And then, I don't know, it's just a lot of crazy things that you would not imagine. I would have never imagined. And so it's just very stressful. But I was so emotional because, my husband wasn't going to be there. And it was sad. And then it's just taken me a minute to bounce back. I'm still not bounced back. As you can see, I have no makeup on. I did take a very good shower, but I've been using waterproof mascara. And that's why I still have mascara underneath my eye. But I didn't wash my hair today. I mean, I don't even know if I brushed it, actually. I didn't go anywhere. I picked up my granddaughter from school, and that's it. So I didn't have to get out my car. And she lives right around the block. But, I do need to give my face a break for makeup because I feel like I wore it way too many days last week. But I am slipping back into my funk with grief. And it hurts my heart so much. I wish so bad that my husband was here. And my little precious granddaughter, she's the sweetest thing ever. She's 6 years old. She's the only grandchild that really will have that had a relationship with her granddad. The oldest grandson lives in Maine, so, he's only seen his granddad twice, so there's really not a relationship there. Phone calls, things like that, but that's all he's going to ever have. But my little granddaughter saw her granddaddy every single day of her life because they live right next door. And she cries to this day. Like last night, she cried herself asleep because she missed her granddad. And it's nothing that we've said. We don't talk. I don't talk in front of her like this. Like, oh, I'm missing my husband so much. I don't do that. She just gets it on her mind sometimes, and she just can't stop crying. She misses him. And I know the trigger was my daughter's dad was deceased, but my son-in-law's dad was also deceased. And so in their wedding ceremony, they took a moment to remember their dads, and they mentioned their names, and they only said a small little thing. I can't remember exactly what they said, but we want to take this time to remember they want to take this time to remember their fathers, and just know that although they're not here, they're always going to be in their hearts, or something sweet. Nothing more than that. It wasn't too much. But since that's triggered the little 6-year-old's little mind, and so that's all she's been talking about is missing her granddad. And so last night she cried herself to sleep, and she just had a bad little night. And that breaks my heart, of course. So grief comes when you least expect it. You think you're doing so good, my mother's been dead for, well over 10 years. And every now and again it'll hit me and I get emotional, Not too much anymore, but it still happens. So I've got to give myself grace. I know I'm trying to heal and find joy and find peace and, all these things. But I feel like when my life gets stressful, that's when it happens more often. But I will tell you one thing that has not been going on in my life. And that is, I haven't been doing my morning devotions. I got out of the habit probably a little over a month ago. And I've got to start that back. I really do. I've got to start that back because that really pulled me out of my funk the last time. But I've got a lot of decisions I've got to be making. I've got to be kind of strategic in a way. And I've got to be smart. And I've got to try to use my head instead of my emotions whenever I make certain decisions. So I do need God's guidance really bad right now. It's not a time to pull away and not put him first and center back into my life. So I'm probably going to get off here, even though it's late in the afternoon, and I'm going to do my devotion and get myself back on track. Today, what I did is I planned April's budget. Budget planning. I love it. I have to. The best thing I ever did in my whole entire life is start this budget planning. That's the only thing that gives me security, y'all. It's tough. It's tough being by yourself for the first time and not having the person that always provided for you gone. I know it's post-stress. What is it? Post-stress, whatever syndrome. But I have to know that I'm okay for tomorrow. So if I can put $5 back a week to know that I've got, um, I can buy toothpaste, then that's what I'm going to do. And especially like putting money back for my house insurance and my car insurance and all those big bills that come. I figured it out. Like when I paid my car insurance and my house insurance, that is 1.5 months of my income. 1.5 months to pay my house and car insurance. Then you add your house taxes and your car taxes. I'm totaling those up. That's a little over half of a month right there. So that's 2 months of my income going towards something silly. you know, I'm on a very tight income, $3,000 a month. It may be a lot to a lot of people, but I live in a 3,000 square foot home, and that electric bill's been kicking my butt. But it did come down this month. I am happy to report that. It did come down. But anyway. Anyway, I thought I'd just give y'all a little update on my life. No makeup. I look like crap. I've got dark circles. I've been doing math. I also took placeholders and put in my binders so I can take my cash to the bank and deposit it. And then I'm going to transfer it to that Ally savings account where I earn I think it's 3.3% interest. So I need to do that. That's like $1,650 that I'm taking to the bank to deposit. I'm going to do that tomorrow. And I still need to go close down my checking account. They told me I had 18 months to close it down and get my own. And I don't know why. I guess my husband had the checking account before we were married, and then he added me. But they said that I wasn't a primary owner of the account. He was. So now I have to have 18 months to close that account out and make another one. And it's a pain in the butt because all of my bills are drafted from that account. But they said they could help transfer that over too. So I guess probably when I go to the bank, I'll do that. And I also have to get my taxes done. I've been going to H&R Block. My mother-in-law used to work there. She did my taxes until she was 89 years old. My husband and my taxes. But last year when I went and had my taxes filed, and they were pretty simple, $450. My daughter and her husband just went and had theirs filed, $450. So my daughter and now her husband, they use someone that is private, that I think has a home office. I mean, she does taxes for a lot of people. And I think it's going to be cheaper. So I have an appointment with her next Monday. The only thing I have to do is figure out my eBay stuff. I was doing good, keeping good sheets, ledger sheets on all that. I know I can go back. And so I probably only have a couple of months that I really need to look into detail on how much I spent or how much, what my actual profit would be, It's not going to be that complicated. But anyway, it won't take long. I haven't sold that much. I haven't posted anything. I was gung-ho that new year. I was going to post, 5 items a day, at least 3 a day. I have sold like 5 ACEOs, y'all. I'm so excited. One actually got bidded up to $3 and something. But 5 of them, my little giraffe sold. I loved him so much. It almost made me cry. He looked like Mona Lisa. I showed him to my Aunt Debbie. She doesn't do technology that well. She heard about him, but then I actually showed her a picture last week for her when I went over, and she was like, "Oh, he's really cute, but he looks so sad." And I said, "Well, look at him again. He kind of looks like he might be smiling." And she goes, "He does look like he's smiling." I said, but he also looks like he might be very sad. So he's my Mona Lisa giraffe. Someone bought him and it made me so happy. They got him for 99 cents. And all he made, after everything all said and done, I think my profit was 43 cents or something like that. But no, that's really good for me to paint. It really is. And I haven't done that in a couple of weeks either. But I will. I will. But anyway, thank y'all so much for watching. My son's called twice. He must really have something to tell me. But thank you for watching. Thank you for letting me. This is like my video journal of healing, you know. But hit that thumbs up. Hit that subscribe. And y'all have a good day. And I'm going to go do Bible study, so I'll be in a better mood. And maybe start getting some stuff done again. But anyway, God bless you. Bye.